Hey guys, welcome to episode number 164 of the Game On Girlfriend podcast. Today, I get to bring you Mikelann Valterra. She is a money coach. She helps all of us really get to the root of our financial psychology. As we dive into this episode, some of the things I would love for you to listen for are finding your financial personality. She just really talked about how important it is that we personalize how we deal with money. I talk to you all the time about how important it is not to do business the way everybody else does business, right? I encourage you to break your industry. I encourage you to follow your heart and your instincts and your guts. There's so many rules that different people who may very well have different financial personalities have come up with. Now, the other thing that I really wanted to bring Mikelann on the show to talk about is divorce. I just thought this was so important for us to talk about, only because I'm seeing it more than ever and what's happening for women after divorce, specifically when it comes to money. And then finally, if you take nothing from this episode, I hope you take a lot. But if you take nothing else, I hope that you take the concept, the idea, the truth, the fact, you pick your word, that we deal with money emotionally. It's so great that there are quote unquote rules. It is so great that we all have goals around retirement money or saving money or investing money. That is fantastic. And what we want to understand is every single one of those decisions is emotional. And if it goes unexamined, it will tend to cause problems. All right. If that didn't pique your interest, I don't know what will. Pop in those headphones and let's get to it. Mikelann, welcome to the Game On Girlfriend podcast.
Hello from Seattle. I'm so happy. I love your podcast. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, you're so sweet. That makes me so happy. And we're so happy to have you here because you're talking about one of my absolute favorite things in the world, money, right? And our relationship to money, not money. People who know me, it's not about shoes and bags, right? But it's about really what we can alter in our own lives and other people's lives, what we can make possible, all these gooey goodness parts of life that we can affect when we have money. So I'm thrilled to be able to hear all of the amazing things you're going to tell us today.
Love it.
But before we dive in, Mikelann, let me ask you, why is this what you do? Like, what led you to do this for work? I mean, it's so cool.
I ended up getting a master's degree. This is going to sound so crazy, in consciousness studies and transpersonal psychology. And I still loved money in terms of all these alternative ways of looking at it and what nowadays we call the psychology of money. Long story short, I met a money coach named Karen McCall, who was the pioneer of money coaching, still is in the United States. And it was like a thunderbolt hit me from the heavens. That's when I went, oh my gosh, I want to do what you do. You know, it used to be that people could see a financial planner for investments, a credit counselor if they had debt issues.
Right.
But you know, most people have both, and we're all trying to build our net worth. And neither of those fields is super strong in the emotional side of money. But you know, money is emotional. And so money coaches work with people on how to get out of the money fog, you know, some of the things that we're going to talk about, how to look at your money, how to create this machine spending plan, how to learn about cash flow. But yes, do all of that in a way that honors the emotions and looks at what works for different people. Because honestly, different things work for different people depending on your personality. So you can't just say to someone, oh, go get a budget, because that's not going to work for some people if you just say that and say that and say that, right? So it's just, we have to look at the emotional side and the practical side to help people get what they want, because we all have very similar common goals around money, but there's different paths.
I love that so much. I mean, I'm having a moment with myself over here because I've been saying that about business forever. Like, you can't follow a plan about business that some person made up who doesn't have your life, who doesn't have your talents, who doesn't have your expertise. They can't tell you how to run your business. They can tell you how to do you, so you can go run your business. And that's like one of my coaching taglines is, I do you, so you can go do your business. Do you know why my brain exploded? Because I never thought about that when it came to money.
I think a lot of, like, when I'm working with my money coaching clients, part of it is know thyself, right? There's no wrong or bad money personality, just like there's no wrong or bad personality in general.
Are there like archetypes, or is it kind of an open field?
What I would say is there's 4 types of personalities, and different people call them different things, but what I would call them is there's the liberty personality type. That's all of us that are motivated by freedom. I want to do what I want to do, when I want to do, how I want to do it, versus a safe harbor personality type. Safe harbor personality types, we're super motivated by security and safety. There's the mission driven personality type, which you actually have a piece of that, right? The point of money is to go forth and bring your mission into the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's the giver personality type. That's like the point of money is love, to give to other people and for my family, things like that. So there's lots of ways to talk about it, but the 2 biggest are the ones that people tend to hear about the most, right? That we tend to be the liberty types or the safe harbor. Half of all marriages are made up of these 2 types marrying each other. When you're dating, it doesn't have anything to do with money. It's a very lovely, juicy pattern. And ultimately, we balance each other out, we harmonize, it's a great combo. When money comes in, you can be looking at opposites in a lot of things. And we can, get into that, but it's like, oh my goodness. And you also see it in business partners.
Totally.
You see it in friends, it's all good, but we don't think about the fact that other people are motivated by different things than we are.
I'm like racking my brain thinking of all the relationships I know intimately, right? All the people I know who are in long-term relationships. And it really does seem to hold that pattern dear, unless the people are a little bit more in the middle. Both of them are a little bit more in the middle, and they can sort of bounce back and forth and compromise. But how do you coach somebody? Let's say you're with somebody who, is really all about liberty and their significant other is really all about safe harbor. How does somebody get coached through that, Mikelann? I'm so curious about that.
So I always have couples work a joint spending plan. It's really important that we look at each person needs their own happy place. They have to have their own happy place. Like, I had a couple where he was super, super into golf, and his wife's happy place was horses. She was an equestrian, and it's all above board. Ultimately, we have to make it work, right? And so that's the communication around everything that we are spending has to equal and be under what's coming in. But what I find sometimes happens in money is, and this is, I think, why people think it's no fun to talk about money, is people tend to, when you read stuff, it's all about the past or the future. The past is all about debt, 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 debt. The future is all about retirement, 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 retirement. But we don't live in the past or the future. We live in the present. And so, a real nourishing spending plan is about our life here. And we are honoring the past and the future 100%. But, if you don't create a plan where you're super happy and enjoying your current life, it's going to be really hard to make progress on other money goals. When people come out of divorce, your money personality goes like super intense, which is not a bad thing. Know yourself. But just know that post-divorce, if you are, a safe harbor personality, you need to be really careful about making sure that you spend enough on your self-care, not go crazy oversaving. Right. And if you're a liberty personality, you need to be careful about not going crazy, in some ways overspending to prove you're okay.
It's just been interesting to hear you talk about this, and that's the personality type sort of coming out, having been knocked around a little bit, maybe, right? Like, hey, you haven't had a chance to do this your way, or now you need to be scared, or now you need to prove things. It's just fascinating. And again, going back to like, how could we ever say money's not emotional?
Right.
It's like, really? Right. It's just so interesting to see how much we really do. I think, at least the way I view it, I'd love to know what you think of this, but I really feel like we use money almost as a form of self-expression, right? It's like, this is who I am in the world. This is what matters to me. And I think our money can kind of tell that story.
And this is why I'm such a champion for know thyself. There is no bad money personality. But when we don't know what motivates us, for example, or where the downside for us personally might be, then we can fall into those shadows. So we project all sorts of stuff, but money as self-expression, absolutely. Absolutely. It's and when it's conscious, it's so beautiful.
Okay. So there's one other thing you talk about that I really want to cover, and this is elegant simplicity. Can you sort of talk to us about what that means? I know this is something that you talk about often.
I love it. I love it. So one of the things I see is people are so bloody complicated about money. No wonder people don't know what end is up. And partly it's because there's a lot of different advice out there. I'm not going to say it's conflicting advice because different advice works for different people, right? And so some people read financial advice written for a different personality type and they take it on and do it, and now their finances are a mess. So what I see as one example is when people come into money coaching, they often have too many accounts. They have too many credit cards, too many checking accounts, too many savings accounts. And so it induces money fog. Money fog is, I don't know what I spend or what I need to earn or how much I have in debt or investments, because there's just so many places to look, right? So I am a huge advocate for simplify, 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 simplify. And so for people that, and anyone can do this, doesn't have to be related to divorce, but when people are starting a new chapter, and there's lots of examples of a new chapter, but divorce is a great example of it. It's a perfect time to say, okay, what if I had one checking account, two savings accounts, and one credit card? It's very, very rare that multiple accounts is helpful for people. We really want, and I don't care what personality type you are, you want to focus on what's meaningful. What does it mean? Where's my money actually going? What do I spend? What do I need to spend? What do I want to spend? Because we want to focus on where you want your money to go, right? So we need to simplify things in a very elegant way so that the whole thing is easier to get your arms around.
What do you think is the biggest sort of, I want to say myth or the biggest fallacy people come to you with of what they're supposed to be like or what they're supposed to do that actually isn't so?
So people are very kind of disjointed almost in time coming out of a divorce. Like, okay, so how am I supposed to do money? Like, with the way I was married for the last 20 years. Oh no, the way I saw mom and dad do it. Oh no, let's get online and read the latest financial articles. So they think they should know it. They think everyone else knows the secret. They think they're the only one that can't figure this out. And so then on top of everything else, they tend to beat themselves up for somehow not being smart enough to figure it out. And the truth is they're in good company with everyone else. Everyone feels that way. And the thing I would add is, I work with women that are just rocking it, and they tend to feel like money is the only area that is not working for them, but they see so many people doing so many amazing things and they feel amazing in so many other ways. They're like, what's wrong with me that I can't figure out this money piece?
When we say, I don't have money figured out, what does it mean to have money figured out? Like, what is that moment?
I would say the number one thing is when people say, oh my gosh, I feel in control of my finances. And number two thing is, and I feel peaceful around money. Because the answers are different for everyone depending upon their goals and where they're going. And, and the other thing you and I haven't talked about is their values. Everybody has different values. Sure. We got to figure that piece out. But when you feel in control, when you feel like you are the captain of your own ship, oh my gosh, there's nothing you can't do. And so we want money to be a helper, not a hinderer.
You guys, I really hope you let this go in today, because there's so much rigidity around money and what you're supposed to do or not supposed to do. And that causes such fear and angst. And here you are saying, no, actually, it can be peaceful. I just think that's extraordinary. I think it's such an important message for all of us to hear. Mikelann, thank you so much for all of the wisdom you dropped today. Like, this has just been amazing. And I know you have an opportunity for everybody listening, yes, to actually deal with this a little bit. Yeah. Can you share that with us?
Yeah. So what I encourage people is, if it resonates and you're curious about this, then book a free discovery call. Go to my website, which is seattlemoneycoach.com. I've got clients all over the world, but I'm in Seattle. So seattlemoneycoach.com, and you can book a free discovery call where we can figure out the number one thing that is keeping you from feeling in control of your finances. And I also have a lovely free ebook on how to stop stressing about money. And it's in the same place.
All right. Awesome. And we actually have a direct link to the ebook below. And I'll also make sure that there is a direct link to getting on the phone with you, because that sounds amazing. And Mikelann, I just want to say thank you again so much for being with us today. I think this is going to be a message that's going to hit a lot of people. They're going to be super excited to hear about it. I'm so grateful for the work you do on behalf of all women. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I love the work that you do with women, and I just think this message will probably resonate with lots of lovely, wonderful women.
Yes, let's get them playing with it. Thanks, Mikelann.